I also love treats. Oh, hi. Welcome to the Fire Fam. You're listening to the littest podcast of 2025, Fire Chats. And I'm your host, Lucy Rindt, and this is my standard poodle bow. So, without further ado, strike a match, settle in, and let's get chatting. Touch noses. Welcome to the Fire Chats podcast, where the kettle's always warm and the fire's always lit, and nothing is off limits. Thank you. Oh, it's the first episode of the podcast. Welcome to the first episode of Fire Chats. My name is Lucy, and I am your host, and I'm so excited for you to be listening to my new podcast. So without further ado, grab a hot coffee, settle in, and let's get chatting. So this podcast is going to be about why I started the podcast and a little bit about who I am. So a little bit about me. My name is Lucy. I'm married to my husband, Roy, and we have two dogs, Bo and Ava. And I guess you could say I've always really enjoyed the slow pace of life, and I always aim to achieve some sort of slow ease in life. I find that I feel most at peace when I'm at home with my family, and that's when I'm the happiest, is at home. And then a little bit about my career is after I graduated high school, I went to university and I studied English literature, where I majored in English, and I also graduated with my teaching degree. So I was a high school teacher for about 4 years, and then I ended up having to leave teaching due to medical reasons, but I'll get into that a different day. But yeah, ever since I've left, I've kind of poured my heart and soul into growing a business called Little Log House Farms. And in doing so, it's been part of my healing process. And I look forward to sharing more about that one day. So in creating Little Log House Farms, I was able to include all of my creative outlets, such as creating candles, photography, floristry, art, and honestly just like putting on community events, which is something I'm really passionate about and find true passion and joy in. And in doing all of that, I am so thankful though that I have my family and my support system behind me and my team who helps me, because I wouldn't be able to do it without any of them. And I'm very fortunate that I have people in my life that I can rely on to help me pursue my dreams. So a big reason why I created Fire Chats is because I wanted to create a space and a community that feels safe and comfortable. And it just feels like you're talking to an old friend. And I want it to be relatable and share and express topics that maybe sometimes aren't shared as much and can seem maybe a little bit more vulnerable. And I'd like to create a space where that feels like the space to do it. So if you think about it, like those chats that you have late at night with a friend or family member, where you can finally let your hair down and you can just let go and slow down. And that's what I truly believe is what got me to pick up the mic and get rolling on this podcast, is because I feel like I'm craving a community where I can share and be vulnerable and get those late night conversations and chats without any judgment and in a safe zone. So on this podcast, we're going to have a lot of different topics that we'll talk about, but just some to name a few would be log house living, obviously, because I love living in the log house, and homemaking, business, entrepreneurship, and hosting, how to be a good host and what that all entails, and then maybe like tips and tricks and tutorials on different things, and family relationships, marriage, motherhood, the raw and unfiltered parts of life, as well as beauty, health, and wellness. So those are just some of the topics that we might talk about. Oh, and scary movies, because I love a good scary movie and I have some ideas. So if you like scary movies, just you wait. So this podcast is meant to bring you, the viewer, the Fire Fam, a sense of calm and peace with a little spark. And of course, I just want, like, my main goal is to make it so that you guys feel like you're sitting across from an old friend and that you're just chatting with an old friend. So each episode will be different, of course. Some will be slow and reflective, and some will be deep and vulnerable, while others might be silly, fun, and maybe even a little chaotic sometimes, which is okay. So we'll play it by ear and we'll kind of see how it goes. But I do have a lot of ideas for the different types of interviews and podcast styles I'm going to do moving forward. So some episodes, it will just be me talking or sharing an experience or a tutorial on how to do something, or I would have a guest on, which I'm really looking forward to because I think it's so important for us to hear and for me to hear other people's stories because everybody has a story to tell. And I hope that this platform can give other entrepreneurs and other women and other mothers and just anybody in general who has a story to share it. So my promise to the Fire Fam is that I'll always show up to each episode as my true authentic self, and I'll always make sure that I'm me and I'm not going to be sugarcoating anything. I'm not going to be putting on some pretend life act that I'm perfect or anything like that because I'm not, and nobody's perfect. And so I hope to hear your real life stories and I hope to share mine as well. Just to wrap up this episode, I'd like to say thank you for listening, and I'm looking forward to growing this cozy corner of the podcast world with you, and I can't wait to see where these conversations take us. Also, please message me, DM me, or even you can email me, and you can call or text 604-556-6037, and you can ask me anything. You can request what you'd like to see in future episodes, and I just want to hear from you. I want to hear what you're thinking about this podcast and anything else that you'd like to share. If you want to just share your story and keep it confidential, you can share it too. What do you want to say to the Fire Fam? You want to say thanks for listening and stay warm and stay lit.